Please be seated. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to invite Mr. Lex Dadd, the representative of the Darug people, to offer traditional welcome to country. Mr. Dadd.
Budgeringani, ladies and gentlemen, that is good afternoon in Darug language. The land on which we stand upon today is of the Watamatigal, which is part of the Darug nation. So on behalf of my people, I would like to welcome you to Darug land. I would like to take a moment to acknowledge our elders, both past and present, and to honour our ancestors. So everyone is aware of the importance of welcome to country. I would like to share with you of what a welcome to country means. Traditionally, a welcome was to allow safe passage for visitors to pass through country unhindered, to hunt and gather food, or to meet for business to discuss important matters. Visitors would light a fire and wait to be approached by a traditional custodian to ask of their business, thus the welcome to country. Most times, a corroboree, celebration, and in particular, ceremony, was an integral part of the welcome in which various mobs would gather. Our process is marked by ceremony and is similar to what we are doing here today. So here today, gathering today in ceremony, acknowledging and celebrating your achievements. I would like to thank the University of their acknowledgement of our people and for the invitation to welcome you here today. This acknowledgement is important to our people and appreciated by our elders. Education is highly valued in our culture. Knowledge meant survival. We have a long association with history of academia and education in this country. In traditional society, our elders were held in high esteem for their accumulated wisdom and experience. One of my ancestors we fondly remember as Grandma Kitty, commonly known as Black Kitty in the history books. She was originally from the Wamali clan in Prospect. Placed in a native institution, a school set up by Governor Macquarie in 1815, Grandma Kitty was to be assimilated into a new world. She was one of 4 Aboriginal children to be placed there. These 4 Aboriginal children, although very young, set a precedence for the future generations, just like each and every one here today. You are all setting examples for future generations. And my family is very proud of our Grandma Kitty, as I'm sure all your families are very proud of you. As I look upon you all here today, I am very proud and honoured to be part of this ceremony. Congratulations, well done, and good luck for the future. Didgeridoo and Warami, welcome once again to today's proceedings. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to introduce the Chancellor of Macquarie University, the Honourable Michael Egan. Mr. Egan.
Thank you, Lex Dadd, for your welcome to country. Well, graduands, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and I notice also that we have some tiny tots and babies with us this afternoon, and they're very welcome. But it's inevitable during a ceremony that will go for at least 1.5 hours that they'll make some noise or cry, and if they do, you are not to leave, you are to stay here. We can all put up with a baby crying or a little child making a noise. We've all been there ourselves. But in any event, my experience is that if a child cries during a graduation ceremony, they inevitably come back 20 years later to enrol for a doctorate. So make sure you stay. Well now, it's my very great pleasure today as Chancellor of Macquarie University to preside at this very important ceremony. First, I welcome our graduands, and we have a lot of them this afternoon, and I hope that this will be a very happy and a very memorable occasion for all of you. Now, some of you look happy, but too many of you look worried and nervous. Now, you're not to do that. You are to relax and enjoy this day, because it's meant to be a day that you enjoy. You deserve to enjoy the day. Nothing can go wrong. The worst thing that can happen, and it has happened once or twice, is that someone slips and falls over. Well, we've got that under control too, because we always make sure that we have a person specifically designated to pick up anyone who falls over. And on this occasion, I'm pleased to say it is none other than the Governor of New South Wales, Her Excellency Professor Murray Bashir. So please do relax, do enjoy the show, because you deserve to take pride in your graduation. Completing a degree is never easy. You need an intelligent and inquiring mind. You need determination and perseverance, and you need to make many sacrifices. So welcome and congratulations to each and every one of you. Today I also want to welcome, and especially welcome, those of you who are sitting behind our graduands as their invited guests. Because if you think about it for a moment or two, you've all obviously done well too. The very fact that you're here, the fact that you've been invited by one of our graduands to share one of the great days of their lives is proof positive that you've been very important in their lives and in the successes that we celebrate today. So mothers and fathers, brothers and sisters, cousins, aunts and uncles, sons and daughters, grandmothers and grandfathers, friends, husbands, wives, partners, boyfriends, girlfriends, lovers, or whatever you are. Congratulations, and thank you for celebrating this great occasion with us. And I don't want you to think either that observing today's graduation is the end of your role. I have another very important service for you to perform for our newest graduates, as they will soon become. I want you to make sure that the degrees they receive today are never ever put in a bottom drawer, but are always proudly displayed in a position of prominence. In other words, if our graduands are too shy or self-effacing to proclaim their own success, you make sure that you do it for them. Now, the ceremony that we're about to participate in is one of the world's oldest social rituals. For centuries, graduates have been donning robes just like the ones our graduands are wearing today and participating in ceremonies just like this one. Indeed, there are some 50 universities in the world which can trace their history back more than 500 years. Now, I hope it won't come as a surprise to you to learn that Macquarie is not one of those 50 universities. We're comparatively very young, only 48 years of age. But in those 48 years, we've come a long way. We now have more than 130,000 Macquarie graduates living in more than 120 countries. Macquarie is a very modern and outward-looking university. We're always trying to engage with the world around us. We're regarded as one of Australia's leading research universities and are currently extending our research as we are our course offerings and facilities. On your way here today, you may have seen a lot of construction taking place at the top end of the campus. That's the Australian Hearing Hub. You may also have seen our new Macquarie University Hospital. We're the only university in Australia with its own hospital. And as well as treating sick people, our hospital is used, of course, by the staff and the students in our Advanced School of Medicine. You may also have seen our new library, which opened last year, which is a fantastic addition to the university, and I think it's now the envy of every university in the land. So we're looking forward, and we're on the move. We want Macquarie always to be a leader in teaching and learning, and a leader in the accumulation of knowledge and understanding. In other words, an ideal community of scholars. And graduands, in just a few minutes, it will be my very great honour to confer your degrees upon you and welcome you as lifelong members of that community of scholars we proudly call Macquarie University. Thank you.
Chancellor, I call on Ms Candice Ferray, who's graduating today with a Masters of Educational Leadership, to speak on behalf of the graduating group. Ms Ferray.
Chancellor, members of the University, fellow graduates and guests. It is with great pleasure that I speak on behalf of the graduates today. This pleasure comes from recognising and celebrating our achievements that have come from a lot of hard work and dedication. It is also with great thanks that I acknowledge the university staff and our guests, our families and friends, who have been the support network we've needed while studying in order to accomplish our goals. In reviewing the list of degrees being conferred today, I have reflected on the educational diversity we represent. We are graduating from 11 education courses at both undergraduate and postgraduate levels, with specialties that include psychology, science, primary education, higher education, TESOL and educational leadership. We have completed courses full-time, part-time, on campus and through distance mode. It is so rewarding to reflect on the inclusive nature of education that incorporates such a diversity of interests, skills and personal situations. Each of us has had an experience that has defined and developed us as individuals, as well as connected us as graduates of the School of Education. On our graduation day, it is interesting to look back and reflect on the time when we were making the decision to embark on our university study. I'm sure that we all have many different reasons and have at times perhaps questioned our decision. But essentially, each of us identified a reason for deciding to study, and in particular, to study education. I decided to embark on my master's study because I developed a desire to make a greater difference for the people I work with, the schools I work in, and the students I work with. But most importantly, through all this, I wanted to make a difference for myself. Fundamentally, I recognised the need to learn so I could bring about change in myself and also for those around me. Over the time I was studying, I certainly experienced a lot of change. It was not necessarily the change I was expecting. The content of my evenings and weekends changed. A night out with friends changed into a night in posting with my Blackboard classmates. And how my usual reluctance to do housework changed when faced with the choice of completing the last few hundred hard-to-extract words for the assignment due tomorrow, or to clean the kitchen, or indeed wash the dog. But along with this also came a change in my understanding and knowledge, a change in the widening of my professional network, changes in my skills and abilities, and changes in my professional practices. Education and learning brings about change. There is a popular quote that essentially says, if you keep doing what you have always done, then you will keep getting the results that you have always got. Initiating a change in what we do can bring about a change in the outcomes we will get. By undertaking university study, we have recognised the important part education has had for ourselves, and through studying degrees in education, we acknowledge the significant impact it can have for others as well. So while we celebrate our achievements and the changes in ourselves, let us also look forward to the constructive change we will be bringing to the areas of education in which we work. To the graduates here today who are embarking on their careers in education, I sincerely wish you well. From those of us who have been teaching for a while, we can say that being involved in education can at many times be hard and complex work, but also thoroughly satisfying. Over the years, you will encounter students whose lives you know you have helped change, and you will also make a huge difference in the lives of many more. To the graduates who have completed further educational studies, I hope that you persist in contributing to and benefiting from the changes that lifelong learning brings. May your example of pursuing learning, conducting research, and developing expertise encourage others to do the same, as well as continuing to make a difference to the outcomes of education for everyone. So as we embark on our new challenges, may we be brave and confident in the knowledge and skills we have developed over our time at Macquarie University, and thrive with the continued support of our family and friends. May we all take hold of our learning and experiences and become active agents in making a difference and successfully instigate the change we would like to see. Thank you.
Well, congratulations, Candice, on your master's degree, and congratulations on a very fine speech. I'm sure you will make a difference, and I'm sure you already have. I can assure you that those who set out to make a difference usually do, and those who set out to make a difference usually live very happy and satisfying lives. So all the very best to you. Thank you very much. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we now come to the key part of today's ceremony. Actually, it's the part that makes me a little bit nervous, because it's the conferring of degrees. Now, that's a very awesome responsibility to put on the shoulders of a Chancellor, because I'm told that if I make a mistake, if I give a degree to someone who is not qualified or eligible to receive the degree, I cannot undo my mistake. I cannot take the degree back. So I have to make absolutely certain that you submitted all of your assignments on time, that you never missed a class. And so to do that, I'm going to call upon the Registrar to give me that ironclad guarantee. Registrar.
Chancellor, I certify that all the candidates being presented here today and those who are absent have satisfied the requirements of the Academic Senate for the degrees and diplomas that they are to be awarded. Would all candidates for admission to degrees and diplomas please stand?
Graduands, in the name of the Council of Macquarie University and by my authority as Chancellor, I admit each of you present and those who are absent to the degrees or diplomas for which you have qualified. Graduates, congratulations.
Please be seated. Chancellor, the graduates at this ceremony are from the Faculty of Human Sciences. The faculty teaches courses and conducts research about people, investigating the how and why. It is the home to a number of internationally recognised research centres that undertake groundbreaking research across disciplines in areas like cognitive science, early childhood education. Exciting opportunities exist for students and researchers alike. This faculty includes research and study areas in advanced medicine, education, linguistics, psychology, early childhood, human cognition and brain science. Chancellor, I now call on Professor Janet Greeley, Executive Director of the Faculty of Human Sciences, to present the graduates and diplomats. Professor Greeley.
Chancellor, I present to you the graduates and diplomates from the Faculty of Human Sciences whom you have admitted to degrees or awarded diplomas. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Master of Education, Melissa Robin Can. Janet Claire Cornelius Doyle. Aisha Kim Ho. Jamila Tan Ho. Paul Gerard Kelly. Crystal Nagrampa Urbanski. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Master of Educational Leadership, School Education, Isla Erdem. Candice Jennifer Foray. Jane Catherine Lazar, who has been awarded the Vice-Chancellor's Commendation for Academic Excellence. Bradley Drew Moore. Ian James Partington. Jonathan Edward Pugh. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Master of Higher Education, Victor Brian Ashelford. Jason Michael Lodge, who has been awarded the Vice-Chancellor's Commendation for Academic Excellence. Melissa Ruffley. I present diplomates awarded the Graduate Diploma in Education. Justin Boyle. Emily Catherine Buckle. Haley Croshaw. Julianne Doy. Lauren Renee Forner. Kim Hamilton. Desiree Sherry Kim Hilton. Rebecca Ann Honda. Danhua Patricia Wang. Julie Allison Hurst. Joanne Curry. Michael John Kleinman. Renata Kontrek. Persis Shetrapal. Jennifer Marie Lang. Annabelle Luer Fletcher. Claire Elizabeth Layton. Kelly Elizabeth Lipp. Marielle Lombard. Michelle Montero. Yasmel Navarro Polido. Galara Sumaji. David Francois Thomas. Amy Michelle Walker. Stephen Zunis. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Arts with the Bachelor of Education, Primary. Jessica Hickey. Michelle Lowe. Edwina Jane Wilson. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Arts with the Diploma of Education. Sarah Abella. Hannah Kathleen Alexander. Zargona Barez. Sarah Jane Barrett. Matthew Peter Elliott Barwick. Alessandra Lynn Baskin. Nicholas Robert Bodner. Katie Louise Brecken. Melissa Frances Briffa. April Ann Butler. Rebecca Kate Cairns. Nick Carazza. Alexandra Marie Castle. Francisca Castro. Nicole Marie Cervenara. Natalia Paula Marie Chronopoulos. Belinda Joanne Collins. Jade Catherine Caluso. Jessica Evelyn Condi. Kristen Alexandra Delutius. Stephen John Dobbs. Mia Rachel Dodd. Claire Marie Donovan. Mariam El Baba. Daniela Famolaro. Peter James Fathers. Mark George Fennick. Haley Lorraine Freeman. Chantel Christine Fuller. Mark Edward Gardner. Tamar Galumian. Kate Emily Hannon. Carol Hansen. Anna Marie Harkin. Rebecca Hall Harmon. Amelia Diane Hayes. Jennifer Hender. Maeve Wilkinson Higgins. Matthew Hillier. Lisa Holland. Catherine Ann Hoy. Elise Sylvia Hutchinson. Sarah Ibrahim. Brett D. Jackson. Shama Rani Javed. Vian Monica Jayatalaka. Grace Hannah Jones. Michael Gary Jones. Balaj Kaman. Paul William Kantek. Georgia Juliana Karamanis. Charmaine Alexandra Keegan. Allison Ann Killard. Lauren Amy Kenny. Steve Kerr. Nikki King. Rosalind June Kinnaird. Terrence Wei Chung Lai. Yvonne Ewen Lau. Jensen Ching-Chen Liu. Shannon James Loker. Carrie Jane Lombardo. Siobhan Renee Lutzek. Michelle Lee. Patrick Joseph Lyons. Laura Marr. Krishneel Manoharan. Gemma Marquetta. Michael Joseph Marr. Andrew Joseph Martinez. Kirsten Sinead McDonough. Philip John McIntyre. Nicolina McKenna. Jacqueline McKevitt. Lachlan James McLean. Emily Jane Menz. Richard Monty Marcel Minter. Belinda Gay Murray. Kamal Adli Narayan. Morel O'Mara. Kelly Opal. Alice Marie Peruzzi. Michael Pung. Benjamin Victor Puppo. Sonia Rogic. Wendy Catherine Ratcliffe. Sathya Ravindran. Danielle Victoria Reese. Giuseppina Riccobono. Nicoletta Romanis. Indra Mangala Rusic. Yusra Saeed. Katrina Sculia. Matilda Lily Sini. Amanda Elizabeth Sharp. Laura Ellen Shorter. Victoria Sim. Jessica Lee Snell. Melissa Angela Sun. Jenna Spinks. Celine Tale Ongun. Jacqueline Tatian. Chloe Elizabeth Thompson McLeod. Jenna Torta. Jeremy Tuano. Carly Marie Eula. Veronica Vance. Darren Ross Farker. Amta Warda. Danielle Wheel. Matthew Arthur Wells. Daniel James White. Marie Zarilli. I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Psychology with the Diploma of Education, Kimberly Sequeira. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Science with the Diploma of Education, Helen Margaret Atkins. Fiona Allison Butler. Claire Capogreco. Michelle Naomi Hamilton. Olga Ibrahim. Amanda Jane Jaja. Daniel Murray Osmond. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Peter Graham Froud. Lisa Jane Jackett. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Education, Primary, Melinda Jan Barbarich. Carol Berry Jones. Mara Kalusi. Rochelle Heather Donahue. Elizabeth Mary Holland. Angela Youngju Jiang. Sally Camasia. Young Mo Koo. Zoe Rebecca Lee. Kate Amelia Limbrick. Andrew Wayne Marr. Mariana Mano. Christina McGee. Sanjay Ann Monk. Carly Pogson. Julia Priest. Carolyn Margaret Sear. Vanessa Leanne Simpson. Janaki Suthan. Melissa Vrankovic. Amanda Louise White. Suwon Young. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Education, TESOL. Maria Abdul Karim. Lee Kok Lian. Mohammed Imran bin Mohammed Nazri. Murni Hayati Mohammed Dalla. Mohammed Rizal Mohammed Yusuf. Chancellor, that completes this afternoon's presentation of the graduates and diplomates from the Faculty of Human Sciences.
Well, that wasn't too bad, was it? That beautiful voice belongs to the very beautiful Angela Brewer. Would you like to hear Angela sing just a little bit more? Okay, it's very simple. You enrol in another degree and come back, and I promise you she'll be singing at your next graduation. I think Angela deserves another great round of applause. And so too do our musicians, our organist, Dr. James Forsyth over there. And our Chinese flutist, Mr. Chai Chang Ning. And sitting next to James and Chai are some of our alumni volunteers, some of whom have come along almost at every graduation, I must say. So we're really grateful to them because they help make things go very smoothly for your graduation. So let's thank our alumni volunteers. Ladies and gentlemen, as part of this graduation ceremony, we honour 2 members of staff from the Faculty of Human Sciences who have made outstanding contributions to student learning at Macquarie University. I now call upon Professor Judith Sachs, Deputy Vice-Chancellor Provost of Macquarie University, to read the citation. Professor Sachs.
Chancellor, it gives me great pleasure to invite Dr. Penny van Bergen to come forward. Dr. Penny van Bergen is a 2011 winner of the Vice-Chancellor's Citation for Outstanding Contribution to Student Learning. Dr. van Bergen grounds her teaching on 2 foundations: the building of a positive learning community and evidence-based teaching. She displays a seamless integration of scholarship, theorised conceptual knowledge and teaching, and assessment that models best practice. Dr. van Bergen has turned around EDUC 107 from being the unit receiving the lowest student feedback to one where students reported that they were intellectually challenged while also motivated to do their best. Dr. van Bergen identified a lack of student research opportunities and in response developed a department-wide summer scholarship program, a highly successful undergraduate research internship where undergraduates apply to work with a member of staff on a research project. Chancellor, I present to you a truly worthy recipient of the 2011 Vice-Chancellor's Citation for Outstanding Contribution to Student Learning, Dr. Penny van Bergen from the Department of Education in the Faculty of Human Sciences. Chancellor, it now gives me great pleasure to invite Dr. Michael Kavanagh, to come forward. Dr. Kavanagh is an enthusiastic and outstanding teacher with a keen understanding of what makes a difference to the quality of student learning. Dr. Kavanagh adopts approaches to learning and teaching that influence, motivate and inspire students to learn. He created a method of working with his whole class group, usually around 350 students, in an interactive way through what he terms lectorials. This has involved a redesign of his classes in a student-centred approach which empowers the student while at the same time requiring the lecturer to relinquish control and the student to relinquish passivity. So successful has been this approach that it has been adopted by the whole primary education team. This innovative approach to teaching is consistently endorsed in student feedback. Dr. Kavanagh has had considerable success in preparing secondary mathematics teachers for the classroom. The learning activities and assessment strategies challenge his students to reflect critically on their classroom performance. He enhances the students' professional experience through building a community of practice with former students and through developing a program of lesson observations and team teaching opportunities at Epping Boys High School. Dr. Kavanagh actively contributes to the development of teaching excellence within the department and also across the university, providing modules in both the faculty and central foundations in learning and teaching programs. Overall, Dr. Kavanagh demonstrates excellence in pedagogy and student commitment, while also maintaining a high level of research output and other scholarly activities that have directly enhanced his teaching. Chancellor, I present to you a truly worthy recipient of the 2011 Vice-Chancellor's Award for Teaching Excellence, Dr. Michael Kavanagh from the Department of Education in the Faculty of Human Sciences.
Well, ladies and gentlemen and graduates, it's our pleasure at today's ceremony to honour, in accordance with the resolution of the University Council, Her Excellency Professor Mari Bashir for admission to the degree of Doctor of Letters Honoris Causa of Macquarie University. I now call upon Professor Stephen Swartz, Vice-Chancellor of Macquarie University, to read the citation. Professor Swartz.
I invite Professor Bashir to stand for the citation. Chancellor, Her Excellency Professor Mari Bashir, who in 2001 was the first woman to be appointed Governor of New South Wales, has made outstanding contributions to the Australian community. These range from psychiatry and mental health services to Indigenous health, juvenile justice, research on adolescent depression, to education for health professionals, and even to telemedicine. Born of Lebanese descent in Narrandera in the Riverina district of New South Wales, Professor Bashir was educated at Narrandera Public School and Sydney Girls High. She gained her bachelor degrees in medicine and surgery in 1956 from the University of Sydney. After completing postgraduate studies in psychiatry, she was made a Fellow of the Royal Australian and New Zealand College of Psychiatrists in 1971. Professor Bashir became a teacher and mentor to medical students at the University of Sydney, and in 1993 she was appointed Clinical Professor of Psychiatry. In 2002, she was awarded the honorary degree of Doctor of Medicine, and in 2007 was elected Chancellor of Sydney University. She has made significant contributions to improving public health in New South Wales, particularly that of the Indigenous community. In 1995, she established the Aboriginal Mental Health Unit in partnership with the Aboriginal Medical Service in Redfern. The unit provides regular clinics and counselling in Sydney and at other centres. She also established the Rivendell Child, Adolescent and Family Service to provide help for young people with emotional and psychiatric problems. Through her leadership roles, she has contributed significantly to the position of women in Australian society. She is now the longest-serving Australian Governor, a role she continues with great energy and success. Professor Bashir's work has been recognised with a number of honours. In 1998, she was made an Officer of the Order of Australia for her service to medicine, particularly in the field of adolescent mental health. In 2001, she was made a Companion of the Order of Australia, and in 2006 was appointed by the Queen as Commander of the Royal Victorian Order. Professor Bashir is Patron-in-Chief of the Centre for Middle East and North African Studies here at Macquarie University, and has been a great supporter of the university over many years. Chancellor, it is with great pleasure that I present to you a person who has served her country with rigour and integrity and energy, Her Excellency Professor Mari Bashir, a most worthy candidate for the award of Doctor of Letters honoris causa.
Your Excellency, in the name of the Council of Macquarie University and by my authority as Chancellor, I admit you to the degree of Doctor of Letters honoris causa. Congratulations. Well, graduates and ladies and gentlemen, I now invite Her Excellency to deliver the occasional address. Please welcome Her Excellency Professor Mari Bashir.
Honourable Michael Egan, Chancellor of this great university, Macquarie, Professor Stephen Schwartz, Vice-Chancellor, Professor Judith Sachs, Deputy Vice-Chancellor and Provost, Miss Deirdre Anderson, Deputy Vice-Chancellor, students and Registrar, academic colleagues, faculty of the university, graduates, parents and friends. I thank you most profoundly, Chancellor and Macquarie University, for the great honour which the university has conferred upon me this afternoon. And my warmest congratulations are extended to all those scholars who have received their degrees this afternoon. And I want to also thank the musicians and that wonderful, wonderful aria from Turandot of Miss Brewer, a glorious voice indeed. And certainly I would like to thank my Indigenous colleague for his welcome to country, and may I too at the outset record my deep respect for the traditional custodians of this land upon which we have gathered, their ancestors and descendants, indeed for all Australia's Indigenous people who have nurtured our great continent for tens of thousands of years. Well, one cannot help but experience a surge of pride when one reflects upon Macquarie University. Established in 1964, the announcement, and I remember very well that announcement, that our state would have a new university in this strategic region of our growing metropolis, was met with universal acclaim. Significant events that year, significant events across the world included the escalation of the war in Vietnam. Nikita Khrushchev of Soviet Russia was deposed in a Kremlin coup, and the Beatles arrived in Australia for their historic tour. Here in New South Wales, it had become abundantly clear that a new university to meet the growing need for superior tertiary education was critical. Not only was the physical setting chosen for this university a wise and felicitous decision, it was a site which would have in its immediate neighbourhood a high technology environment. It is interesting to note, on reviewing documents of those early years, the choice of names which were under consideration for the new university. 3 men of Australian history, each of whom had made major contributions to the national development and identity of modern Australia, were put forward. One of these, as you surely know, was Lachlan Macquarie, a man whose commitment to reward and freedom, to emancipation, was based on merit, on potential and on achievement. A man who, through courageous leadership, set the direction for colonial Australia's confident development towards the stability and harmony of today. A second name put forward was that of Sir Henry Parkes, 5 times Premier of New South Wales. Sir Henry can never be forgotten for his legislative enactment of the Public Instruction Act of 1880, relevant to all of you here this afternoon who've graduated. The Public Instruction Act that all children between the ages of 17 and 14 till the end of their 14th year must attend school regularly. Education would be free, open to all regardless of social status, religion or ethnicity, and would be compulsory. In fact, your parents could be prosecuted if they didn't comply with that regulation. More commonly known, of course, is the dynamic role which Sir Henry played as the inspirational voice responsible for bringing all the Australian states and territories together as one Commonwealth. Although he had died by the time Federation was officially enacted, his resounding rallying call, words of unity, one people, one destiny, is what he said. One people, one destiny. Those words are perhaps as relevant today as at the end of the 19th century. The third name under consideration as a possible choice for this university was that of William Charles Wentworth. Wentworth was the son of convict parents. Indeed, his father was a medical doctor, a surgeon, magistrate, and occasional highwayman to support his many girlfriends. And he met his young convict wife-to-be, a 16-year-old, during their transportation to Sydney on the Second Fleet ship, the Young Endeavour. Later, young Wentworth was sent to be educated in England and returned to become one of the most influential figures in Australia's early colonial history. One of the 3 young men to cross the Blue Mountains in 1813, 199 years ago, Wentworth was critical of the inadequacies of our early political structure and became a decisive voice in the development of parliamentary democracy over autocratic authority. And perhaps he, more than any other individual, was the decisive voice in the foundation of the University of Sydney in 1850. And it was due to his unflinching resolve that the university did not commence until it was absolutely confirmed that university admission would be based on merit and open to all, regardless of ethnicity, race, religion, financial wealth or social status. Indeed, the values and efforts of those 3 titans of Australian history are being carried forward today, I believe, by Macquarie graduates. And undoubtedly the name choice of Macquarie should be a continuing source of inspiration to all scholars who study here. In these bicentenary years of Macquarie's tenure as governor, this university has added significantly to the understanding of the Macquarie legacy through its Lachlan and Elizabeth Macquarie archive and through enlightening publications by its scholars, including a splendid biography of the governor's wife, Elizabeth Campbell Macquarie. She was a woman who shared her husband's fair-mindedness, his zeal for reform, and acceptance of the most humble of individuals, including former convicts. It is interesting to note that the first charity established in colonial Australia was a school, the School for Orphan Children at Parramatta. The building still stands intact today with the painted frieze around the wall, almost 200 years old. Today, Macquarie University is an undoubted jewel in Australia's educational system, a university which continues to expand with wisdom to meet the changing needs of a dynamic, robust and multicultural society and reaches out with distinction to the people in its neighbourhood. Macquarie is producing scholars, including those of you who are graduating today, bearing that legacy of those who have gone before, reaching ever higher standards in enlightenment and education, including Macquarie and his wife. And you will go on to make a contribution to our nation and beyond through education. I have absolutely no doubt of that. Graduates, today marks a new and very important coming of age as your sustained efforts, your challenges in these years of study, whether undergraduate or postgraduate, have been rewarded. and I trust that your enriched identity as graduates of this university will guide you with a quiet inner confidence towards the challenges of greater responsibility and an unquenchable thirst for continuing knowledge and inquiry. Your intellect and your ideals will have been melded through the process of your scholastic effort, the inspiration of your teachers, and will identify ways in which you may contribute to the common good, whilst also charting a successful and fulfilling career. On the occasion of receiving an honorary degree at Harvard University in 1943, that great Englishman, Winston Churchill, referred to universities as the academic groves where knowledge is garnered, where learning is stimulated and thought encouraged. The empires of the future, he declared, are the empires of the mind. Today, those empires beckon. Some of you entering professional fields, soon to achieve goals in your chosen profession, and others of you will be drawn to postgraduate studies, and others perhaps, and I hope, to forging links with international colleagues in collaborative research projects. Today you are surrounded by the goodwill and pride of family and friends who have supported your aspirations and who now rejoice in your achievements. And through this graduation, you are now welcomed into another family. Wherever on earth you may go, wherever on earth you may give your services, you will belong to a family whose bonds are those of the mind, bonds of a shared intellectual heritage. So I want to urge you all to sustain your connection to your university, Macquarie, with pride and affection, and may you return again and again to share in the intellectual riches, whether you come as a friend, a parent, a teacher, a benefactor, or again as a student. And may your life be one of continuing fulfilment. My congratulations again, and best wishes are with you all. Thank you.
Well, graduates, I'm sure you'll agree that we have been very honoured today to have the occasional address delivered by Her Excellency the Governor. It's not a usual thing for the Chancellor of one university to give an occasional address at another university, so perhaps today we have set a precedent. And as of course you'd be aware from the Governor's remarks and also from Professor Swartz's citation, the Governor, as well as being the Governor of New South Wales, is also the Chancellor of Sydney University, where I went in the 1960s. But of course these days our loyalty is to Macquarie University. But I think we should be big about it. We shouldn't be one-eyed about it. And we should be big enough to acknowledge that Sydney University is certainly the biggest, the oldest, and without doubt the second best university in Australia. As you could probably tell, Her Excellency is also an authority on Governor Lachlan Macquarie, and the man, of course, after whom this university is named. And one of the things I would like to see happen here at Macquarie is for every student and every graduate to get to know something about the life and times of Lachlan Macquarie and his wife Elizabeth, because the debt that we owe Lachlan Macquarie is just so enormous. In many respects, the Australian notion of a fair go started with Lachlan Macquarie. He was not only a great builder of public works and roads and buildings and what have you, he was also a builder of values. And the notion of the fair go came from his insistence that there be no distinction at all between the free and the freed. In other words, whether you were a free settler or an emancipated convict or one of the officers, there was to be no difference in the way you were treated. And when you think about it, this great city of ours, the city of Sydney, more than any other city on earth, is proof positive of the power of redemption and the ability of people and societies to continually improve. Now, one day you should read some of the learned speeches that Her Excellency has given on Governor Macquarie. But today we've been very privileged to have her as a very special part of our graduation ceremony, and I think you should give her another great round of applause. And by the way, sitting down there in the audience is the Governor's husband, Sir Nicholas Shahady. Now, for those of you who follow rugby, you don't need me to remind you that Sir Nicholas was not only the Lord Mayor of Sydney some years ago, but was also the captain of the Wallabies when they used to beat every country that wanted to play against us, including the Irish. And in fact, when Nick Shahady goes to Ireland, they reckon that next to Oliver Cromwell, he's the most hated person in Ireland. And tomorrow, Sir Nicholas is giving the occasional address. So we're looking forward to that tomorrow. Well, graduates, this ceremony marks the end of one stage in your relationship with Macquarie University, but it's certainly not the end of your association with Macquarie. From today on, for the rest of your lives, you are part of the bigger Macquarie family, which is our alumni, and part of the network of Macquarie alumni, which now spans the globe. We'll keep in touch with you through our alumni program, which is focused on lifelong learning, lifelong support, and lifelong connections. Our commitment to you is to help you keep in touch and engaged with Macquarie throughout your life. And graduates, please make sure you come back to Macquarie, either to undertake more study, to attend alumni events, or perhaps use our aquatic and fitness facilities, or even, if the mood takes you, on days that's weather-wise much nicer than these last couple of days, to enjoy a picnic down by the lake. Well, graduates, the award of a university degree carries many opportunities and privileges. But like all privileges, it also carries responsibilities. Believe it or not, you, each and every one of you, can change the world. And you don't have to be a Nobel Prize winner to do it either. Because almost everything you do, in your homes, in your workplaces, and in your communities matters and can make a huge difference. The consequences of every effort, every action, large or small, can reverberate through society, through the decades, indeed the centuries. Even something as simple as a kind word or a kind gesture can often be the spark that ignites a great life or a great career or a great achievement. So as Chancellor of Macquarie University, I charge you to use what you have learned, not only for your own betterment, but also for the benefit of the community. I charge you to use the skills and knowledge you have acquired with rigour and integrity, and to commit yourselves to a program of lifelong learning and inquiry. I charge you to recognise the worth and dignity of all people, particularly those who have not had the opportunities that you've enjoyed. I charge you to set high goals and to continue the hard work that has brought you so far. I charge you, wherever you go, to go with all your heart. And in all you do, I charge you to uphold the good name of Macquarie University. Graduates, I hope that you'll also always remember the people who have helped you along the way, many of whom, of course, are here with you today. So to acknowledge their contribution and thank them for it, I'm now going to ask you to do a couple of things. Would you please now stand? Now I'd like you to place your degrees on the seats behind you and turn around to face your families and friends. And now I invite you to give them a mighty round of applause. You can turn around now, but don't sit down because we'll be leaving very soon. Behind me on the stage are representatives of our academic staff, who of course have also been very important in your journey, and I'm sure you'd like to thank them as well. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the official party will now leave the courtyard through the centre aisle, and we will be followed by all of the graduates. I would invite you all to now please stand, and please remain standing until the last of the graduates have processed out. And then I hope you'll all join us at the University Court for some light refreshments. Well, graduates, I wish you the very best for the future. And in the words of the old Irish blessing, may the road rise up to meet you. May the wind always be at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face and rains fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand. Thank you and good luck.